He's definitely Yerushalmi Ma'asros in the article Ozba Hadishah with Taf and Mem Amarav. Mem Shat Taf. Hasty Rabbi Bar Cohen, which is on Chav Beis Amarav in the Vilna, the third line down. It's Rabbi Bar Cohen. So the what else? Hasty Rabbi Bar Abba. Abba. Hasty Rabbi Abba Bar Cohen. Rabbi Abba Bar Kana. Hasty Rabbi Abba Bar Kana Kuri Rabbi Yossi. But thing that we learned, he's asking what we said in yesterday's daf, that Teva, which is Teva Midamid Rabbanan, is both according to Kuliyama. So we need to learn, but Ketzba Zese Mesuk. You have olives which the Baalbas gathered for himself, and the Chayav and Maisa. Mesuk is just a harvest. You harvest it for yourself, for your own eating. She's Arim Zese Nikuf. Which you got mixed up with olives which you made in the tree after the harvest. They belong to Aniyim. As it says in Dvarim Los Far Acharecha, and they turn from Yerushalmi Ma'asros. So or in the Batzir, similar idea. You have grapes you harvested as a harvest in Ve'olos, which grapes are Olos, which are the type of grapes, individual grape. As we said, paired so they Ketef Lunetef. In any event, all those are the grapes which are parted from Chumas Ma'asros. They're Matnasanim, V'chule, and the Mishnah says there in the Mishnah is Chala, Paragil Mishnah test that it says there that you chayav to fix the taroivis. So the Lav the Gemara says. The Lav Tevel Shema Divrayim Hu. So the Kavanaki explains that it's Lo Nigmar Malachton. In other words, since Lo Nigmar Malachton, the Isum is only Rabban, Natim Mechias Kva. And nevertheless, you're Chayev to Mesach and Sarovas. So Kev the Rabbanan is not the Barov. But that's in the Perush, but in the Biurim, the expanded version of the Kavanaki, he says that even you don't hold it, even though that's could be after Gemara Malacha. So nevertheless, he says it's going like this. It's going like we show him that only Trumas Tirosh v'Yitzar is Chayav Midaraisa, meaning Truma of the actual grape juice and the olive oil, which is difficult to say. But in any event, so the question of Gemara is that if you're going to say Tavashim Divrayim, like we said yesterday, Kama Moedim Shateva Bata Baroiv, so then why over here we say that you have to masakin the entire roives, not the entire roives. I take that back. That was wrong term to use. Why do you masakin anything at all? It's Tavatom and Rabbanon. Because it's talking about before Gemara Malacha. You harvested it, but it's before Gemara Malacha. It says the Zese Mesuk or the Envy Batzir. So at this point, it's only Tavod Rabbanan. Got mixed up with stuff which is not Chayav and Chumas Ma'asros at all. Zese Nikuf, Envy Olos. Why is anything required? It says after the Masakin, but Taroivis. I guess according to the shear of whatever Tevel's involved in. Why is the Tevel not Bata Barov? So Amrei Mana says Kiyamtia. I explained it that it's Shemen Zese Misuk. She's Arab im Shemen Zese Nikuf. That since it's after Gemara Malacha. Since after Gemara Malacha, so the Tevel's not Bata. It's either because Shemen is after the Melacha, Yain is after the Melacha, and therefore it's Chai Tevel Deraisa, or according to the alternative shot that he gives in the Perushim, because it's Taka Chai Deraisa, because it's already the stage of oil and wine. Okay, so now the Gemara goes on, I have a header here, Lezera Chayav. Vilna. No. So the Mishnah had said that Hoka Levitzon's Toch L'Shalom and Hoka Toch Shalo L'Zera Chaim Nishu Garner. You take if you took levis and toes out and you gather them in order to replant them, so that's called a goren. So Amrei Mara said L'Shal L'Zera. So if you gather them for the purpose of zera, Halecho Potter. But if you're going to plant them in order that they should grow and you should eat them, not for the purpose of the zera, so then you don't have to mice them now. You can mice them at later when they actually grow. That's what I talk about Mishnah Aleph. The beginning parak. It's okay. Shasolim mitoch shalo teach shalo potter. He doesn't have to mice them before he replants them, because it's going to, when he eventually to harvest them the second time around, so then he's going to take my servant on it. Rabbi Chia Bava B'Shem Yochel says, "Lo shana ben lozer ben lochol chayiv." Not true. He says even if he's doing replanting or to eat them, it could still be chayiv. So the Gemara says, "Latniim neishu goron." It sounds like this is the only goron. When you're taking them, when you gather them again or plant them for zera. But if you gather them together, go to replant them, and they're going to have a second goren, so only chayiv time a second goren. My Rabbi Chanina mibnei shu machnis, so he gives an okimta. Mibnei shu machnis l'sheni l'ani min ani l'sheni. He'll talk about our case, specifically a case where you remove them from the ground in the time of Maisa Sheni, you want to plant them again, time of Maisa Oni, or vice versa. Oh, that's why it's considered a goren now, because for that Maisa, they're not going to have another goren for that Maisa. So since you change them from one year Maisa to another year Maisa, that's why now it's considered a goren, and therefore that's why they go off the Chumas Maisors. Now, before you replant them again, then the second time around, the Maisa is going to be a totally different Maisa, either Sheni or Oni, depending on when it's taking place. Okay, so the continuation of the Mishnah spoke about onions which took root in the aliyah, in the second floor. They become tohar. And the tohar miltami. If an avalanche falls upon them and the leaves are revealed, then megulin harei continue beside this is planted in the field. Okay, and the chayv and meisos and us called the shmita. So the avalanche is still considered as if they're planted. Okay, so now the Gemara says, "Am Rabbi Yochel Shem Rabbi Yanai." Now say you have a pile of onions which is sitting anywhere, right? And now they took root. So this is a tosefta, paragimo halachiyot. But some shishishu zeh b'zeh. The onions took root in each other. I guess they can do that. B'karka aliyah on the second floor, and b'cheskas l'meshishvis, they retain the status of meshishvis. V'asin loshim on Shabbos, and now it's plucked from him on Shabbos. And the what is the status if you do pluck from them? So Rabbi Yochanan says, yeah, the Yerushalmi Ma'asros. I'll tell you Shabbos, potter. If you pluck them on Shabbos, you're potter, because just like in terms of meshishvis, they're not considered mechubel l'karka, and they may whatever chazaka they have, they don't get replanted. Now that they replanted, now they're going to do a different year meiser, or they require meiser over again. Shabbos also. Now mechuyev on their tlisha. Chatchila, I guess you shouldn't take them. Rabbanan, but the Raisa, there's no, over the law of harvesting them. Why? They're in your second. You don't want them to take root, right? And this, they're taking root, so not each other. I guess on the second floor, or you stockpile them. You don't want to have them replanted. So therefore, It's not considered to be. It's an interesting idea. Um, the um, the it's from the Egret Tal. It says here. Smicha grua kazu eno shezim chubrim eno rutziba. I guess you really have to say that because whether it's making wine or not, if it's mushash, it's mushash. And since they're mushashing each other, and therefore it's not considered to be a true ashrasha. It's not a true ashrasha. You didn't want it, so therefore it's doesn't come considered mushash. So Amar Shimon Lakish. Shimon Lakish asked him after my ichpula Shabbos gabe Ma'asros. How can it make connection to Shabbos and Ma'asros? Chem Ma'asros do with the intent of the Zoreh. Like, if it's in mind to be Zoreh for Hefker, it's Potter. But it's going to be Shabbos, it has to with Mechubar or not. And the Chabban of the Zoreh doesn't make a difference. And the Raya, that's somebody who plucks a mushroom, which is growing in a dish, is chayv, even though it was never really planted at all. So my ichbala, why is it Shabbos Chayim Ma'asros? Ichbala literally means why is it copy? But why are they together? So they responded, the low kentani, it's a low kentani. They said it doesn't. Didn't we learn this also in the Mishnah? It's not just the Sefta, it's a Mishnah. Then Kilayim, and Kilayim by somebody who's our Mishnah test says somebody who buries bunches of turnips and radishes under a grapevine. You put them there for safekeeping, not for planting. It's not considered Kilayim, lo mishum shvius, nor shmita, lo mishum Ma'asros, we tell them Shabbos. So you see, if it was not intended to take root, it's not a problem. Isn't that what it says explicitly in the Mishnah? Right? See the Amar. So Amalei. Before we see the response, so he says in the Kavanok, he says it's true. And that was just talking about where they didn't take root, just sitting in the ground. But it's hard. They also take root to be potter, because if they took root, it'd be chayav. So chacham should not be matter to take it on chatkila, even if it didn't take root. It's a nice svara. Okay, so Gemara answers. Gemara says, Look carefully what he said. His question was not on a connection between Shvius and Ma'asros, even though Shvius also has nothing to do with the intent of the person who plants it, because it takes effect on anything which grows on. But Rabbi Shimon concedes that Shvius Ichbala. There is a connection between Shemitah and Meiser. She wrote about Shoslan. She Masur Mishum Svichen. Because by Shvius, if you wanted them to be planted in the ground, so then they also count the Svichen, being Mutar Mishum Svichen, not the Mutar Mishum Svichen. So the saying that even though Shemitah has to do with the even though by Shemitah normally the intent of the planters I do or not, nevertheless there is a connection here between Shemitah and Ma'asros, which is in terms of in the issue of Svichen. So have where we're up to in the Yerushalmi itself, and let's go. Let's see. So it seems like the Shakrataya. I mean, it goes on. We go back to Shlokish, but the Shakrataya kind of ends kind of abruptly here on one branch. Where it's saying that okay, Meiser and Shabbos, you're so a problem. But Shvius makes it's in this weird situation. There is a we can extrapolate from Meiser to Shvius that by Meiser and Shvius there's a similarity. If you want Ashrasha, so then it's Asim Shem Smichim, and also the by Meiser that was the Sefta had said. I can find the Sefta again. So they with Ashrasha and Aliyah, we're not interested in, and we don't care about it, and therefore it's not going to be Svichim by Shvius, and it's not going to be Chayav again by Meiser. So it's not going to be a sufficient Ashrasha. So that we're okay with. That comparison between Shemitah and Meiser is okay. But its only difficulty was the comparison to Shabbos. And that's that. It's clarifying a point. The only issue we have is Shvius and the connection between Meiser or Shabbos. Now the program with Shvius and Shvius and Meiser being connected. Next line is problematic. What's going on? Amalei Rabbi Maishlo, Rabbi Zira, V'doy de Rava. Some people say it's Rabbi Chaim Kanievsky reads it as V'doy de Rava. The statement. That's not going back to Rabbi Shlomo. It's going to Rabbi Yochanan. And Rabbi Yochanan's statement. So the passage is going on Rabbi Shlokish, where he's asking Michael Shabbos Gabi Maisrus. Then it's a question on Rabbi Shlokish. So I'm going to Maishlo Rabbi Zira. V'doy de Rava. In other words, this is such chiddush that by when Rabbi Shlokish is asking, Michael Shabbos Gabi Maisrus, what's the power of Shabbos and Maisrus? So he says, this is why is it such a big chiddush? Ilutana Batsa Yichidi Yos. If it would have said that an individual onion, then I would understand that. How can you possibly say that that there's no problem of hashrasha, that therefore that's not considered to be tolish? So the Batsa Yichidi, I understand, because Batsa Yichidi being mushrash and the karka of that even aliyah should be a problem. But they're talking about bitzalim which got mushrash in each other, not in the ground. Since the mushrash in each other, not Batsa Yichidi in the ground, but Batsa and other bitzalim. So therefore, why is Africa a problem by Shabbos? On the contrary, Shabbos it's easy to understand the difference between why by Shabbos you're potter here. You're potter because it's not considered to be Ashrasha when it's mashish another batzel. A batzel yichidi, maybe it's mushish in the karka of the aliyah, there would be a problem. Makes sense. But when the mushish in the other, so therefore he doesn't understand why he's saying why is it such a chiddush? Why is it so difficult to Reish Lakish? Right? Shabbos, if it's batzel yichidi, I can understand there'll be a problem of its mushash, and you can't actually remove the ground. But it's one batzel, another batzel. Oops. So what's the issue involved? Okay, so now Kavnaki blows in the word Tanya, but whatever, not doesn't really matter. But some shishu bekupa zebazeh. It's a parallel case. If you have onions which took mushash into each other, right? In a basket, in a container, and they retain the status of Meiser and Shvius. If they're a pair of shishis and the mushash is weighing shmita, so they don't have kusha shvius and they're chayiv like shishis, right? When you're tmeim, lo alumi deitim awesome. If they're tamei, it's still made tamei because they're mushash in each other, not in the karka. Yishush b'aliyah, if they took root in the aliyah, in the actual dirt of the second floor, so then hareim v'chaskos l'maiser shvius, they're not considered to be mushash for in terms of maiser shvius. V'imei utmeim only they tumasan. But they're tummy. They're no longer tummy because they got rooted. So the one says cheskasan. How can that seems contradictory? You say they're cheskasan. which means they haven't, the status hasn't changed from Ma'aseh and Shvis. But Amar Alu, so I can say the Oilam Mitumasan. How can you Mushish Lagabe Zeh, not Mushish Lagabe Zeh? So Rabbi Yosef B'Shem Rabbi Yosef said, Hator Rivsat B'Tara Zroim. Is that you here in the Vilna? No, it says Abilah. Okay. Yosef Shem Rabbi said, Hator Rivsat B'Tara Zroim. So especially there's a custom by Tara Zroim that we are more mako by Tara Zroim. My time where a pasuk teaches this, keep on livlasam al kol zera v'gomer. It says, the pasuk says a kol zera zarua. So any epizarua, as long as the mushosh even hashrasha, what the Orglei Tal called earlier hashrasha grua, it's not enough to yichayv your Shabbat. It's not enough to change chesed with the ma'ases. The Veshuk says that it works for effectively for removing the tumah, which is really not sure it's brought down halacha here. The Maskans Shmuel and the Kabbalaki brings down from the Rambam. I'm not sure it applies directly to this case, but it's a very big chiddush. It could be the elsewhere chas. I'm just not remembering it. The Torah Rivsa B'Tara Zroim, but I don't remember this from elsewhere. I don't remember. It's not a riot. I'm blanking out on it. Rivsa B'Tara Zroim. Kilayim Perek Zayin Allah above, Shabbos Perek Yud Allah above. So it is elsewhere. So obviously this is the shine, but my blank out means absolutely nothing. Okay, so the Torah Rivsa B'Tara Zroim is, I remember I was using other circumstances, because I remember this case of the Aliyah elsewhere, but yes, the Torah Rivsa B'Tara Zroim is an issue, which isn't Ganshas. And it's a special kula, even though for other purpose we don't say that Hashrosh is not social, because it's Hashrosh Grua.